Hello everyone, welcome to this class. We are going to continue our class on triangles. Today we are dealing with isosceles and equilateral triangles. Now we go to theorem 5. It states that the base angle of an isosceles triangle are equal. What's an isosceles triangle? Isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two sides equal. Let me say this is a triangle 1, 2, and 3. Let me extend this to this point, and my drawing is not straight. So this is the triangle. Let me call here A, B, and C. So for this to be an isosceles triangle, take note. Let me assume these are the two sides that are equal. Mean the AB is equal to what? AC. And where the two sides that are equal meet is called the base. Here is called the base. While the point where, let me say, the line they meet, let me use that word, it's called the base line, the base side. While where both of them meet is called the vertex. So according to the rule, it says that the base angles of an isosceles triangles are equal, meaning the angle here and the angle here are equal. Are we together? So let's prove that. For us to prove that, we have to bisect this vertex. Remember what I told you about bisect? When you said bisect, it means to divide the angle here into two equal angles. So when you bisect it, my drawing might not be to scale, but I'll call where it meets the base T. But there's something you need to know about the property of. So here we are going to apply our law of congruent triangles. As you can see, this side and this side are equal. Now we have triangle ABD and triangle ACD. So in ABD, we have that the two sides here are equal, and now both of them are sharing this side. So at the same time, this side for ABD is also equal for ACD. Now the next thing is this angle here. Let me call here X and call here Y. We all know that these two angles are equal because this is a bisector. So if we use our law of a congruent triangle where we have ESAS, two sides are equal and the included angle is also equal. So you can comfortably say that these triangles are congruent, and because they are congruent, these angles become corresponding angle. So in that case, B is now equal to C. I think I didn't write all these things down. Let me write it out. At first, let me say AB is equal to AC. That's for this. And then I will say AD for ABD is equal to the same AD for ACD. Then X is equal to Y, because we know that this is a bisector. We are the one that draw this line. So by so doing, we have this rule for congruent triangle. So I can now say that this triangle ABD, triangle ABD is equal to triangle ACD through our congruent triangle. Remember, we said that congruent triangle they are the triangle that have the same size and shape. So from there, you can now say that angle B here is equal to angle C because they are corresponding angle. So that proves the law. That proves this theorem 5. Another thing again I want us to take note in isosceles triangle is that when this bisector bisects the vertex, we call it a vertex, right? Don't forget, where the two sides that are equal meet. Why the line they meet is called the base, right? So when this bisector bisects, normally we know what bisection means. They bisect equally. We know that where it meets the base is definitely what? It meets the base at right angle. And what is right angle? 90 degree. So that's the first thing. Let me write it at number 1. Bisector meets bisector of the vertex. I say of. Let me write it out. So this bisector of the vertical angle, which is the vertex, we always, that's just the common law of a what do you call it, isosceles triangle. We always meet the base at what? Right angle. Means that wherever it meets the base will be right angle, and it makes sense. We always know that a line that is perpendicular on another line forms right angle as its angle. So it means that when it comes straight and meet it at right angle. That's the first property of isosceles triangle. Second one you should know is that it's where it meets the base, meet it in such a way that it divides it equally. So that this second one, so that BD will be equal to CD. Take note of this. Let's now solve our first example. So we are doing with our first example. Example 3 says that isosceles triangle ABC and ABD. So we are dealing with two triangles, ABC and ABD, are drawn on opposite sides of a common base, AB. So first thing we note that they have a common base. So let me call the base this, and I'll call this AB, right? If A angle BC is 70, so let's say the C is here. You can also make it down as long as you are following the right order. A angle BC. So let me join this and join these two. Mind you, they say it's an isosceles triangle ABC. ABC. And now we are being told if A angle, what am I saying? If A angle B is 70, so here is 70 degrees. And remember, how do you know which side is equal? Remember what they said. They are drawn on a what? Common base, meaning this is the base. And remember what we said about base. Base is where the two equal line meet. The third side that the two equal side meet. So we can comfortably say this is the what? The sides that are equal. And A angle DB. So this is, let's say D is here. Let's say this is D. So A and this is B. Oh my god, my B is already inside this thing. So let's say this is my B. I think I made it. They say A angle D B is what? 118 degrees. So we know that this is the sides that are equal since this is the base. Calculate ACB, ACB and CBD. So this is what we are looking for. ACB X. Now let me call it question mark and CBD. So we are looking for this whole angle here. So let me call this one too question mark. So this is very simple. We all know that an isosceles triangle, the two base angles are equal. So here will also be what? 70 degrees too. And if here is 70 degrees, what would here be? Simply be, let me solve for ABC so we understand what we are doing. So since both are isosceles triangle, we already know that A, B, C will be equal to, let me say B, A, C, right? So both of them will be equal to 70 degrees. So I'll put in 70 degrees here. Now, how do we get this ACB? We know that ACB plus ABC plus BAC is 180 degrees. So we can just say ACB plus 70 plus 70 is what? 180 degrees. Why is it 180? The total sum of interior angle of a triangle is 180. We proved this in our previous class. So from there, ACB will now be 180 when these 270 cross the equation, minus 70 minus 70 is like 180 minus 70, that's 140, that's 40 degrees. So here is 40 degrees. Are we together? So what we are told to look for is ACB. ACB. I think that's the first one we are looking for. This is our answer. The second one we need told to look for is CBD. That's CBD. So to get CBD, remember this is an isosceles triangle and this is the base. So the angle here must be equal to the angle here. Hope we're together. So the first thing I'll do is to get the sum of the total angle of this triangle is 180. So when I subtract this from 180, anything I get, I divide it equally because both of them are what? Equal. So let's go. First thing I'll do is I'll say something like this: BAD. BAD. This is angle is equal to what? ABD. ABD. Because of what? The two angles of the base of an isosceles triangle. So the next thing I'll say is this, let me call this ADB. I think that's the same notation they use. I'm trying to make sure that I'm using the same notation as they did when they said that is 118 ADB. Okay, ADB. Yeah. I will now say ADB plus BA. How am I doing? BAD plus ABD is equal to what? 180 degrees. So let's continue the next slide. So let me write it out. ADB plus BAD plus ABD is what? 180 degrees. So we already know that our ADB from the triangle, from our diagram, is 118. So we replace it with 118. Say 118 plus, since this is equal to this, let's call this 2BAD. Hope you understand. This is equal to this, so it's like 2 times of this is the same as this plus this, which will be what? 180 degrees. So we make this subject of formula 2BAD. We have 180 minus 118, which is what? 62 degrees. So BAD will now be 62 divided by 2. So BAD will give us what? 31 degrees. Are we together? So it simply means that this BAD is what? 31 degrees. And since we are dealing with isosceles triangle, ABD will also be what? 31 degrees. And mind you, look at what they say we should calculate. CBD. So CBD simply means what is here plus what is here, and that will give us our CBD. So let's continue. So therefore CBD will be equal to CBA CBA plus what? ABD plus ABD, which is the same as 70 plus 31, which is the same as what? 101 degree. So let me write CBD 101 degree. This is the second answer. See how simple it is. We are just taking time because I'm trying to explain it in a way we understand. It's a very simple thing. Just know that the two sides of an isosceles triangle are equal and they meet at the base, and the angle where they meet is a vertex angle. So let's solve some exercises. This exercise 2C, number 1A, we're being told to find A. So this is very simple. Since this is an isosceles triangle, we know that these are the two sides that are equal and these are the two base angles. We can likewise say that here too is 70 degrees, right? So I will now say the total interior angle is 180. I'll say 100. Okay, say 70 plus 70 plus 8. Okay, sorry, A is what? 180 degrees. So A will now be 180 minus 70 minus 70. When you cross the equation, it should give you what? 40 degrees. So A is 40 degrees. Very, very simple. Very, 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 very simple. This one now, this is what we even did in the last class. Just in the last, I was trying to use the notation. That was why it was taking time. Here we don't have any notation. Just jump straight to it. Let's solve the next example. Number 1E, where we told to look for N. Still very simple. First, we have an exterior angle, right? And from our rule, we already know that this external angle is equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angle. All making sense? So since this is the isosceles triangle, this is the side that are equal. So it means that this is now the base angle. So N and whatever that is here are equal. And we know that N plus whatever that is here, if you sum both of them, you get 144. And since both of them are equal, you can now, let me say I call here M. And N is equal to M. So you can just say M plus N is 144 degrees. So I'll call, since this is equal, I'll say N plus N 144 degrees. 2N is 144. So N is 144 divided by 2. N will now be what? 72 degrees. That's your answer. But let's assume we don't even know this theorem that I used, that is the sum of opposite interior angle is equal to the exterior angle. You can just solve it with your normal geometry, where you know that this is a straight line and the total angle of a straight line is what? 180. So to get what is inside here, you just say, let me call here O. Let me call here O. I will now say O plus 144 will give me 180. So O will now be 180. So minus 144. So O will now be what? 36. So that's for O. And we now know that this plus this plus this is 180. So I can say the next N plus M plus 36 is what? 180. Now since M is equal to N, because it's the base of isosceles triangle, I can just say M plus N plus 36 is 180. So we can now say 2N, when this crosses the equation, is equal to 180 minus 36, which is 144. So N is now 144 divided by 2, which should still give you back your 72 degrees. So any law you use will always give you the correct answer, as long as you are doing the right thing. So let's solve another example. So this is number 6. So let's read and understand. ABC is an isosceles triangle with its base at BC. So let's draw the triangle. This is the isosceles triangle. So this is A, B, and C. We already know that here is the base. For that reason, these are the two sides that are equal. Produced to D. So it means that BC did not stop at C, it continued. When you hear produce, it means it continued to a certain point. And where it stopped was called D. If angle A, this is angle A, is 75 degrees, right? Calculate A, C, D. This is very simple. We already know that any exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angles. So this will be equal to this plus this. And since, so the first thing we are going to do is to find these three angles. You can just say angle A plus angle B plus angle ACD. ACD is what? 180 degrees. Mind you, this and this are equal because they are the two base angles. So I can just say angle A will replace 75 degrees plus, since this is equal to this, I'll just say b plus b is equal to what? 180 degrees. So when I add this 2b to become this b to become 2b equal to 180 minus 75, when this 75 comes cross the equation. So my 2b now is 105. So my b will now be 105 divided by 2. It should give me 5 go here, 5 go here, 2.5 degrees. So for that, know that here is 52.5 and here is also 52.5. Are we together? Now this is equal to this plus this, so I'll just simply say ACD equal to angle A plus angle B, which is 75 plus 52.5. So ACD will now be equal to 2 plus this 7, 5 plus this 12.5 degrees. This is your final answer. On the other way around, if you not want to use the exterior angle, interior angle rule, you can just say, after you finish getting your three answer, you can just say this is what? A straight line. You know that whatever that is here plus whatever that is here will give you 180 degrees. You can just say, you can just say 180 is equal to 52.5 plus ACD. So in that case, ACD will now be 180 minus 52.5. So ACD will also give you 127.5. So you got the same answer. So this will be the example for the last example for the class. Thank you and see you in the next class. If you have any question, do it to drop in the comment section.